way. There's a way. There's a billion ways, baby.
Conor go down. What was your honest reaction to that?
Honestly, I feel bad, but I know Max gonna beat him, but not like fast like this, in the first minute. I want to see how he fight after the five years, and honestly, feel bad when it's...
Conor McGregor is nearly 3 weeks out from the right knee injury that he suffered during the opening seconds here against Max Holloway. And based on everything we've seen Conor posting amongst all the energy drink ads, I'm a little bit confused about the timeline and what else might be going on with his knee. Videos of Conor cranking away on the rowing machine, all of the knee extensions that he's been doing, and every picture we've seen about how his knee looks, I have some questions about what's going on with his injury timeline here and the treatment plan. This is also a really good opportunity to talk about prehab and the time frame of when you need to do surgery and how you would treat something like an ACL and a meniscus tear based on what we see with Conor. The most detail we've
this posed to me. And the way we think of Conor now is not the way that we thought of him just 10 short days ago. And will he be back? Will he rematch? It seems like
you understand why they were booing Conor, and that's where I think I don't think there's gonna be another comeback for him, right? Especially if it's a torn ACL, it's gonna be another year off. I just don't think he's gonna have the crowd behind him like he did for this one. He can maybe talk his way into it, but like I said, he's really not even that good of a talker anymore. Maybe you give him a Chandler fight, but Chandler, you're gonna wait another.
Conor McGregor is making headlines once again, and this time he's blaming the arena itself for the devastating injury that ended his UFC 329 comeback before it truly began. McGregor took to social media with a bold claim, insisting he slipped because the canvas became dangerously slick from the fog machine used during his walkout. He even joked that the fight should be ruled a no contest before promising fans he'll return next year at 100%. To prove he's serious, Conor released fresh training footage showing himself pushing through rehab and looking stronger every day. Love him or hate him, one thing never changes. McGregor always finds a way to keep the entire MMA world watching.
In the MRI, so we haven't actually seen anything yet about when surgery, if in fact surgery, needs to be done, which is why I think it's an interesting conversation to really think about. Going back to the actual injury, the mechanism makes sense with an ACL and with a meniscus. My, of course, first thought was primarily meniscus because we didn't see that classic shift forward and then buckle backwards in the tibia like you will often see with a complete full thickness ACL tear. And I stress complete ACL because I think one thing we have to consider here is that this is just an ACL sprain and not actually a full thickness rupture of the ACL, which would play an important role in the timeline of all of this treatment. Here's
If the injury isn't as severe as many first believed, then another question suddenly becomes impossible to ignore. What has been driving Conor through this entire comeback? According to Chael Sonnen, the answer isn't money or fame. It's one promise Conor refused to let go of.
goes by, how will Conor be remembered? And I'm already thinking of his fight with Max different than I was that night. I remember that night I had a very different opinion of Conor. Conor was making it very clear, let's get this leg, let's get in the gym, let's get the best regenerative medicine, let's get back in there with Max, bringing it right back to Vegas, right back to this weight class, and right back to the same rounds. The exact same thing that Conor said, oh, and by the way, went through with, after his first experience with Nate Diaz. That was the Conor that was coming out saying, Max, same rules, same weight, same everything, even put it in the same venue. Okay. But I didn't believe at that time that he would succeed. And it certainly wasn't the time to have the conversation, right? When a guy is hurt, it's not the time. If a guy is hurt and he tells you, my motivation, and this is going to be hell, this is going to be very difficult, physically and mentally, to heal my body, but I can do it and I will do it because I've got a great motivation, and my motivation is to fight Max in the same weight class in front of you people and show you I can do better. Why would we take that from him now?
The biggest question is no longer who Conor will fight next. It's whether he'll ever fight again. Michael Bisping gives his honest opinion.
Conor McGregor, the big question is, let me know in the comment section, will he ever fight again? The sport is a better place with Conor McGregor involved. The hype, the anticipation, all of it with Conor McGregor here in town this week was at an all-time high. It was crazy. It really was. But will he fight again? Will he come back? He just had 5 years away from the sport.
While everyone is asking whether Conor McGregor will ever fight again, his recovery is raising an even bigger question. The latest videos show him moving with almost no visible pain, almost like the injury isn't as serious as many feared. Is he recovering faster than expected, or are people reading too much into the footage? Dr. Brian explains what those videos really reveal.
Saw for the mechanism. Now, what's a little bit odd is what we've seen happen afterwards that will happen again with a full thickness complete ACL tear. Timeline is one of the most important things with an elite athlete in terms of having surgery, if surgery is needed, to get back to your sport as quickly as possible, even more so for an athlete at Conor's age. Whenever somebody has a complete ACL tear, there is a sequence of physiological, right? Pretty good signs of what doesn't seem to be overly severe, at least externally on this picture. We then see Conor doing these really aggressive knee extensions, and like his right knee looks fantastic. I mean, there's like no swelling whatsoever in his right knee. Again, range of motion looks fantastic. He's putting a lot of load through it. Now, people will question, like, is this safe? Is this okay to do? This is something we would call an open chain exercise.
If Conor does return, he still has a chance to change the ending of his story. But if he doesn't, how will history judge one of the UFC's biggest superstars? Chael Sonnen has a fascinating answer.
Remembered. He was such a fantastic fighter when he was fighting. There was no question that 145 pounds and 155 pounds were the toughest divisions in the company. He had the belt at both divisions simultaneously. So, very strong argument that he was the GOAT. Just on that, forget about who else was fighting and who else had done what. If the two most difficult divisions are championed by the same guy, that guy's probably the GOAT. But will history remember that?
Não tem reação, acho que todo mundo tá esperando a volta do Conor na luta entre os dois e uma fatalidade dessa acontece, faz parte do MMA, não tem muito o que fazer. Vamos esperar os próximos capítulos. Isso é bom para todos nós, para mim nada mudou. O próximo da fila ainda continua sendo eu, Charles Oliveira, mas tem coisas.
Conor McGregor spent nearly 5 years preparing for the moment fans believed would be one of the greatest comebacks in UFC history. But within seconds, everything changed. The dream comeback turned into another heartbreaking setback, and the criticism came fast from every direction. While some fans defended Conor, others completely lost faith. Brendan Schaub had one of the strongest reactions of all, and he didn't hold anything back.
These goddamn events, like at 2 in the afternoon or something. So by the time they get to the last one, it's not midnight. But I mean, Schaub has been talking about this fight. He picked Conor. He's like, this is Conor's comeback. It's gonna be the greatest fight ever. And then that was the ending. Much like Schaub's career, that's ending in a fucking storage unit in Texas because he lost everything. What did Conor McGregor even do right there? Like, you went out there with a big kick.
But here's where the story takes another unexpected. Conor's knee appears to be recovering surprisingly well, yet surgery still hasn't happened. So what's causing the delay? Dr. Brian shares his biggest theory.
Things like this knee extension with this much strength, fantastic. This is a very good prognostic sign for if he does need a full ACL reconstruction. This is great to see going into surgery. But again, it seems like at this point, like, things look really good. Like, what's the holdup? Why are we still waiting? If the plan is for an ACL surgery. Again, Conor's his own person. Maybe he waited a long time last time this was done and he felt like it was a great recovery, so he's going to wait the same amount of time. Just all things, again, that I think are worth thinking about and wondering as we wait to see, well, when is this surgery going to happen?
For weeks, fans have been guessing what happens next. Now, Dana White finally addresses the situation himself and reveals where Conor's recovery really stands after the devastating injury.
Outside of this, Conor McGregor, obviously, have you guys spoken to Conor about what's going on with his knee or anything like that?
Have I spoke to who?
Conor McGregor about his knee.
Yeah, I talked to him. I talked to him the day after the fight, but you know, nothing about. I haven't talked to him since. I've been on the road, so I haven't talked to him since. But he's getting surgery, and you know, I was saying yesterday, you know, Conor is getting surgery. He's going to have to go through physical therapy, and then he's going to have to get a sign-off on the doctor to start training full-time.
Ever since Conor McGregor suffered the injury, fans have been asking the same question. What happens next? Rumors have been everywhere, but very little has been confirmed. Is surgery already planned, or is there something delaying the process? Now, UFC President Dana White finally breaks his silence and shares the biggest official update yet. His comments could clear up the mystery surrounding Conor's road to recovery.
Yeah, no, so I obviously congrats with Zuka Boxing. It's great. I want to get back to UFC.
Thank you.
UFC Conor McGregor. I mean, you know, to me, Kalsi's predictions, will he come back in 2000, like, will he come back in 2028? When do you think?
I don't know. I mean, to even think about it right now, and I know he's very upset with how it all went down. But listen, when you're his age, you're taking 5 years off. You know, Father Time is undefeated. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And he's looking. He's going to have knee surgery. He's going to have to go through, you know, physical therapy. And then once the doctor says, hey, physical therapy's done, you're ready to start training full time, then we'll start talking about what's next for Conor.
Yeah.
Conor just needs to take some time. Hopefully this is fuel to light the fire for him to, you know, come back and
After years of injuries, failed comeback plans, and endless questions about his future, many fans have already written Conor McGregor off. Every time he hinted at returning, something seemed to stand in the way, leaving people wondering if they would ever see the old Conor again. But despite all the setbacks, some still believe his story isn't finished. They believe the fighter who shocked the world and became a 2-division champion is still capable of one more unforgettable run. So, is this simply false hope, or does Conor still have what it takes to silence every critic? Here's why Tim Aspinall believes the comeback shouldn't be counted out just yet.
Did we ever think that McGregor was coming back?
He always threatened coming back, didn't he? But I think that like there's been so many stop-starts with McGregor that
6 years.
Yeah, no one knows where we're up to. But you know what? I watched a couple of his interviews recently. He seems in a really good place. I know it's only an interview, but he does seem in a good place. When McGregor's on form, he's absolutely unreal. Absolutely unreal. He's beat Max Holloway before. Max Holloway, in my opinion, really, really good fighter. One of the best ever. Didn't look great in his last fight. Did not look great against Charles Oliveira at all. He looked like he kind of like was questioning whether he wanted to be there or not at points. But he was fighting a grappler, so you know when it's all striking, which it probably will be. Sometimes when you're fighting regular, that helps as well. Sometimes it works the other way. It just depends where they're at. But like I say, I heard a couple of McGregor interviews. I was very impressed with what he was talking about and how calm he seemed and how focused he seemed. I know it's just an interview; it doesn't really mean anything, but he's up against it, against an active guy like Max Holloway. But I think the thing is that power doesn't leave. Like he needs one shot and it can be over. So I'm more favouring towards a McGregor win, to be honest.
I can tell, but how does Holloway win this fight?
Holloway wins by just out-voluming him, being at the right spots at the right time. Very tall, lanky guy, using good footwork, using good timing. His timing is definitely going to be better because he's been fighting way more regular than McGregor. I think that there's definitely a possibility of Max Holloway picking him off and moving, but I would favour.
As soon as Conor hit the canvas, the internet exploded with rumors. Some fans believed they spotted signs of an injury before the fight even ended, while others pointed to strange moments that fueled endless conspiracy theories. Were people simply overthinking the footage, or was there something unusual that everyone missed? Israel Adesanya shares his perspective.
Eyes, DJ, I have eyes. When they did the replay and took the Crocs off, he didn't put weight on that right leg. He didn't, and I know he was throwing it in the locker room. Also, I think, David, you said there was a guy that put 900K on Max right before the fight. I think you mentioned it. So things like that. And I think, another one, conspiracies. Okay, yeah, there's a board right there. There's a reel of Mel Gibson and what's the big dude? Vince Vaughn, that's his name. Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
And then you see Mel says to him, if you find the clip, chuck it in, and he goes, his legs jacked up. He's like, for real? He's like, yeah, watch this. And people are reading their lips. So again, that's the conspiracy.
The conspiracy theories spread across social media almost instantly. Some claimed the injury looked suspicious, while others questioned whether the fight was exactly what it seemed. But according to several MMA experts, the truth may be much simpler and far more painful. They believe what happened wasn't planned at all. It was just one devastating moment that changed everything.
It wasn't a normal, I can't continue reaction. It was kind of like a...
I think he was in shock. Like, oh my God,
maybe.
My fucking knee just blew out and he didn't know what to he didn't know what was like. It was just it looked genuine reaction.
If he's back there.
Yeah, I would love to believe all these conspiracy theories and these, but the fact of it is, the truth of it is, it was a freak accident. It was a fucking freak accident. He's not gonna show up just to get paid. He's not gonna show up and have a shitty fight to prove a point. Like, haha, you guys iced me. That, bro, the feelings he's dealing with right now isn't. He would rather have fucking made $0 and at least got to go out there and perform and maybe drop Max and maybe lose a decision for $0. He would take that than taking it what had happened. And wait.
Long before Conor McGregor stepped into the cage, many experienced fighters and coaches had already made their prediction. They believed beating Max Holloway after such a long layoff would be one of the toughest challenges of Conor's career. But Dan Hardy says the warning signs didn't start on fight night. He noticed several clues throughout fight week that suggested something wasn't quite right before the opening bell even rang.
That something special was going to happen. But, you know, all the conversations, I mean, I've been in at the Extreme Couture all week, and it's full of pros and amateurs and good fighters and coaches, and I'm chatting with people all the time, and everyone was like, yeah, you know, McGregor's probably got around, and then he's cooked, you know, and it's like that was kind of the perspective. And, you know, when you fight in Max, like, you've got to have the best round of your life in the first round, because he'll just suck the life out of you as the fight goes on. So it was always a matter of time before McGregor started to look terrible in the fight. It was just a shame it was in the opening seconds.
It was an interesting fight week. For example, I did feel like at the press conference, it's almost like he was trying to go through his best lines and convince people he was the old version of McGregor. And then even in the weigh-ins, I know it's like early weigh-ins, but he looked a little bit shaky on the scales. And then even physically, he just didn't look like a good 170. Like, Max Holloway actually looked like he looked pretty good at 170. To me, I'm like, this is a guy that's kind of filled out and looks healthy. But Conor McGregor didn't quite look the same way that he did against even guys like Cowboy Cerrone. And then it's like he got the leg break. Everything that he went.
Conor McGregor's future has never felt more uncertain, yet somehow it has never been more fascinating. From medical experts questioning the injury timeline, to Dana White confirming surgery, to former champions and analysts debating whether the old Conor can ever return, one thing became clear throughout this story. Nobody truly knows how it ends. Some believe the injury marks the final chapter of one of the greatest careers in MMA history. Others believe this is simply another obstacle for a fighter who has built his legacy by proving people wrong. The truth is, McGregor has spent his entire career doing the unexpected, and that is exactly why fans still refuse to stop watching. If he returns, he'll face a younger generation, years of ring rust, and the biggest physical challenge of his life. But if he never fights again, his legacy will still be remembered for changing the sport forever, becoming the UFC's first simultaneous two-division champion, and bringing millions of new fans into mixed martial arts. Now the only thing left is time. Time will reveal whether this injury becomes the final image of Conor McGregor's career or the beginning of one last unbelievable comeback. What do you think? Will Conor McGregor fight again, or have we already witnessed the final walk of one of the UFC's biggest superstars? Let us know your prediction in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the biggest stories from the world of MMA. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.